G'day legends. Editing vocals has to be one of the most tedious parts of the whole recording process. Tuning vocals, editing the timing, it is very time consuming and painful if you don't have the right tools. Now, Synchro Arts have just released RePitch 2, and there's been some really nice updates to RePitch which make the process even more streamlined and helps you get through the process a lot quicker. And one of these new features actually helps you get your vocals to sit tight in the track, not just fix the pitch, but fix the groove of your vocal as well. This feature is called SmartAttack. It allows you to sync your vocal up to a reference track. For example, if you have a 2-track beat that you're working alongside, then you can sync the vocal up in RePitch to that track, or you can simply use SmartAttack to sync the vocal to the grid of your session, which is what we're going to do right now. I'm going to show you how we can use RePitch to get our vocals locked in and sounding tight in our production. Now, I've got a song here, one of my own. The vocals need a little bit of tuning and they need to be locked into the grid a little bit tighter. So what we're going to do is load up RePitch 2 as our first plugin here. So this is at the top of the chain. Now I'm going to resize this RePitch window, just make it a little bit bigger so we can see everything that's happening here. I've got 4 vocal tracks. Now I can arm all 4 of these to capture the audio. Now there is the ARA version of RePitch which will automatically capture your vocals. In Logic, you need to be on Rosetta to make that work. I'm just using the latest version of Logic, not in Rosetta. So I'm just going to do this the old-fashioned way and capture the audio in. So another great feature of RePitch 2 is that you can now edit and work alongside all of your vocals within the one instance of the plugin. And I can also arm all of the tracks right here. I don't have to open the individual tracks and hit capture. I can do it right here. So let's capture these vocals in and you can hear how they're sounding right now.
Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again. Just to know you're real, just to know I'm not dreaming.
So as you can hear, the vocals need tightening up, pitch and timing. The pitch has a little fluctuations here and there, and the timing of the vocals needs to be a little bit more locked in with the groove of the song, but they also need to be locked in with each other as well. So we're going to use SmartAttack to lock the vocal into the grid of the song and just get it sitting in there nice and tight. So we can see up here at the top right, there's Attack. We're going to click on this and this jumps over into the Attack editing window. And we can see here a bunch of transient markers outlining where sort of like the main beats of our vocal are. Now what we need to do is tell it what to snap these markers to. So at the moment, our reference, our grid is none. So we can open this up and we can select where we want to snap this to. So if I had an instrumental track that I was recording vocals alongside, I could capture that into RePitch and then I could select that for snapping our vocal to. So for example, if I click on our double track, I could then click on this pin here, which is going to pin our lead vocal, and we can come down to grid and we can select lead vocal for our SmartAttack. And then if I hit align all tracks to grid, it's going to snap the double track to the timing of that lead vocal. That is now our reference point for the SmartAttack to work alongside. So that's a cool way of tightening up your vocals in itself, is that you can use SmartAttack to kind of like grid your vocals together. But we're not going to do it that way right now. We're going to snap it to the grid of the song. So I'm going to turn that off, come back over to lead vocal, and then I'm going to select bar beat. Now we can see this is the beat markers for the track. And all I'm going to do is hit align all stacks to grid. And you can see it has shifted the vocal. Now, obviously we need to listen to this and check it because sometimes there are some little errors that you need to fix and it's pretty easy to make adjustments to this.
Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again. Just to know you're real, just to know I'm not dreaming.
Okay, so for most of that, it's sounding pretty tight on the grid. There was a couple little weird things in there, which we'll fix up now.
Won't you speak to...
So just there, the word speak felt a little bit late. Now all we need to do is click on the SmartAttack marker and we just drag it over. And we're going to just move this until it sounds right.
Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again.
Sounds good.
Just to know you're
So that bit there, just to know it felt a little weird and laggy.
Voice again, just to know you're real, just to know I'm not dreaming.
Great, that sounds really tight now. So besides fixing pitch, we can now adjust the feel and the timing of our vocal using RePitch as well, which is awesome. So now what we can do is continue on editing our vocals. So I'm going to jump back over to pitch, and in here we can start adjusting our vocal. Now, a really cool new feature for RePitch 2 is this moving toolbar, which is great. So if you're sort of editing, you can have this right near what you're doing and you can select between your different tools. RePitch has some really awesome tools here. So you've got your multi-edit tool, which lets you do all your kind of like fine-tuning adjustments. You can adjust the pitch of individual notes, the amount of correction, boost and cut the level of each individual note, the amount of drift in the pitch of the vocal as well. So you can do all of your little fine-tuning adjustments with just this tool here. Center note tool just snaps notes to the center of the closest note. For example, I can highlight all of these, double click, and it just snaps them to the grid, which is really nice if you just want to do some quick adjustments. The draw tool, this is actually pretty interesting because you can draw the pitch variance in your vocal. So you have a look at this, you can just draw in what the vocal does.
Speak to me.
So I could put a bunch of vibrato on there maybe.
Speak to me.
So pretty cool tool, right? Or for example, this vocal here, we've got this weird little pitch variance right at the end of it.
Voice again.
I can just draw that out if I want and just smooth the vocal out.
Voice again.
Pretty cool. The shaper tool. This is actually really awesome. Again, if you've got some sort of pitch variances or weird things going on with the modulation in your voice, you can click and make points within the vocal, and then you can drag those around and fine tune the vocal. Really lets you just get in there and tidy these little details up, which is amazing. So you've got your split tool, which lets you cut notes in half. So let's say we only wanted to edit the back end of this note. I could do a split here. Then I could grab my multi-tool and I could pitch correct just that part of the note. And then we've got the warp tool, which lets us get in and adjust the timing of notes. So if we wanted this a little bit more condensed, we could squish it up a little bit. If this was a little bit too early, we could drag it over and fix the timing of it. And of course, good old zoom tool, click and drag and zoom in. So great to have all of these tools right here where you can grab them, but also you can just see how powerful RePitch is. Now I just want to do a little bit of like global tuning and then kind of do some little touch ups. So what I'm going to do is set the scale. I know that the scale for this is actually A major and it's already here as A major, which is cool. So let's add that scale. Hit save. So I'm going to hit Command A to select all our notes. And then I've got some note settings down here. What I'm going to do is boost up our drift to correct that about 70%. And then I'm going to do correction overall at about 75%. Now we can also snap notes to scale if we really want to be aggressive about it. I'm going to hit that and have a look at what happens.
Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again.
So this note needs to come up.
I need to hear your voice again, just to know you're
So that too sounded a bit funny to me. So I think what we need to do is tighten up the correction here.
just to know you're real, just to know I'm not dreaming.
That sounds pretty good to me. I might fix this little thing up here though. So I'm going to grab that shaper tool, make a couple of points in this vocal, and then we can kind of tighten this little bit of wobble up at the end of the note.
You're real, just to know I'm not dreaming.
I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to jump in and tune up my harmonies. I can do that right here within the same instance of RePitch. So I'm going to jump over to my harmonies, do the exact same thing, select all of these notes and just give them a global tune up like I did before and get them all locked in.
Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again, just to know you're real, just to know I'm not dreaming.
All right, they sound heaps better, but you can still hear the timing of them is a little bit loose. So now what I'm going to do is use Vocalign to tighten everything up. Now I did mention that I had a double track vocal as well, which we haven't touched. So it's a little bit pitchy, it's a little bit out of time. I'm going to use Vocalign now to just snap that double track to the pitch and the timing of our lead vocal, as well as the timing of our harmony tracks. I'm going to snap that to our lead vocal as well and get this sounding super tight. Now, as I said before, if you're using a Silicon Mac, ARA is a little bit funny. You have to be in the Rosetta version of Logic to do this. So I'm going to do this again the old fashioned way. So basically I'm going to load up Vocalign on my double track vocal, and I have this either at the top of the plugin chain or after RePitch if you've done any edits. We haven't done any RePitch edits on the double track, so it doesn't really matter. And basically I'm going to select the side chain as our lead vocal, so LVoc. I'm going to hit capture, and you can see it's already grabbed that vocal. And then all I'm going to do is hit play over that section, and then it's going to snap this stuff together.
Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again.
Okay, now Vocalign does its magic. We can tell it how tight we want it to be. So usually around 10 milliseconds sounds pretty good. And then matching pitch, I want this pretty tight, so I'm going to leave it pretty much where it is. Let's have a listen to what this has done.
Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again.
That sounds awesome. Like, those vocals are locked in, which is what we want, and it's in the groove of the song. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing for our harmonies. Okay, so let's do a quick before and after. Pay attention to the timing, the pitch of the vocals, how they kind of sit in the track. It's pretty dramatic.
Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again. Just to know you're real, just to know I'm not dreaming. Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again. Just to know you're real, just to know I'm not dreaming. Won't you speak to me? I need to hear your voice again. Just to know you're real, just to know I'm not dreaming.
That is a huge difference. Besides the vocals being in tune and tight together, they're also locked into the groove of the song, and it just sounds really polished. And for me, I like a pretty polished vocal sound, but it's totally up to you how hard you go with this. You can just give it light pitch corrections. Even when you use Vocalign to sync things up together, just back those percentages off, play with the timing. You can still keep it all sounding natural with a bit more looseness to it if you want. But if you want a really tight production, that's one way of going about it and getting that really tight, polished vocal sound. And if you think that these tools look awesome and you want to speed up your workflow when it comes to editing and polishing up your vocals, you can grab RePitch 2 on its own, or you can grab it in the vocal production bundle with Vocalign Pro to streamline that whole process. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support this channel, you can check out the link in the description below to my website. Got a bunch of drum sample packs, mixing courses, and templates over there. Grabbing any of that stuff really does help support this channel. If you're interested in taking a deeper dive into Vocalign Pro, then check out this next video coming up.
Won't you speak to me? I need to hear